Welcome to the Focus on Why podcast. I'm Amy Rowlinson and I ask my guests one simple question. Why? Focusing on the importance of why, I share with you the relatable, uplifting and inspiring conversations I have with people from all walks of life. This podcast will encourage you to focus on your why to enable and empower you to achieve the success you desire. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why. Welcome to episode 78, Reflections and Observations, with me, Amy Rowlinson. We all have the opportunity to carve our own path and create our own lives. The 6 guests that I'm reflecting on today demonstrate in their own unique way how they have each done just this and why they have done this. When we take control of our lives and live with purpose, we make choices, and these choices in turn create opportunities. Before I reflect on the recent episodes, I want to share with you an opportunity that I have created for you. If you are wondering if it is possible to change direction at this point in your life to pursue your passions, I can reassure you that it is possible. If you are feeling overwhelmed and yet perhaps at the same time thoroughly underwhelmed, then I can help you with this. If you are feeling frustrated that you're not achieving your potential and life is flashing past before your eyes, you're not alone in feeling like this. It's absolutely possible to change direction. There's plenty of time, and there is a solution. I have just provided the opportunity to help you by opening up a limited number of 1-to-1 3-month focused coaching slots, which are by application only. Simply book in a 20-minute complimentary inquiry call with me, and we can discuss how you can make the necessary changes to carve your own path in life. I can help you to find fulfillment, direction and purpose. I can help you to reach the potential that you truly desire. I can help you to feel that you are living, not just existing. Invest in yourself, believe in yourself, be bold and book a slot now. Seize that opportunity. In the show notes is a link. calendly.com/Amy Rowlinson/inquiry call. Just click on there and fill in the form and book your time with me. Moving on to the reflections and observations of the last 6 guests, I'm starting with episode 72, Create Shared Value with Mark Stokes. What an episode this was. Mark talked about the moments of inner self and reflection, having witnessed the Hillsborough disaster at a young age. And he said that he vowed to himself in that moment that he would honour those who couldn't live their lives. He's certainly gone on to do that. His drive is echoed across all disciplines, and he's gone on to achieve incredible feats. The 2 points I want to pick up on today are change and creativity. Change, or radical change and evolutionary change whilst remaining calm and drawing out the positives from every situation, is how Mark describes he approaches his life. Again, perhaps this is linked to the deep trauma that he experienced as a young man. And it's certainly why he recommends walking in another man's shoes for a mile to understand just what others are experiencing, to truly understand what they're feeling. Change is inevitable. The sooner you learn this, the easier life becomes, because you're always looking for ways of dealing with change in your work and your life. There's a great book, it's a small book, just called Who Moved My Cheese? With a subtitle, An Amazing Way to Deal with Change in Your Work and Your Life by Dr. Spencer Johnson. Its premise is simple. The story is told as a fable. It illustrates the 4 typical reactions to situations in life when we're facing change. And the book focuses on themes of happiness, success, routine, fear and change. Ultimately, the moral of the fable is that change happens. We should anticipate it. We should monitor it. We should adapt quickly and enjoy the changes and look for this cycle to repeat over and over. It is a choice that we can make, and it is a personal perspective that we can adopt. Mark also refers to a TED Talk in his podcast, and one that has had great impact on how he's raised his own children. Now, I've talked about the importance of perspective in previous reflection episodes, and this links perfectly into Mark's reference to Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk on how school kills creativity. Sir Ken Robinson recently passed away, but his legacy will remain as his work lives on in the minds of millions of people. I highly recommend that you take 19 minutes out of your day to watch this video. I've put the link in the show notes for you. Society continues to push the arts to the back of the queue, behind maths, science and humanities. This has been done on a global scale for so many years, and it was designed to serve a system that is antiquated. It was a system that we needed people for the workforce. We needed people with skill sets in the previous way that we used to live. And this no longer serves us anymore. There has been a systemic bias against creativity for decades. Schools have focused on English, maths and science over the arts every time across the world. Music, art and dance are often overlooked and taught less and less. At his core, Sir Ken Robinson believed that creativity is the essential act of living, of navigating a fundamentally unpredictable world. As he said to the head of TED, Chris Anderson, in their interview, he said, "The best evidence of human creativity is our trajectory through life. We create our own lives." And these powers of creativity, manifested in all the ways in which human beings operate, are at the very heart of what it is to be a human being. Moving on to episode 73, A Different Approach with Sarah Trumble. Sarah asks why go with the flow when you can approach a situation differently. She quotes P.T. Barnum, "No one ever made a difference by being like everyone else." Don't follow the crowd. Be extraordinary. Carve your own life just how you choose to. Forge your own path. Carve it out in a way that works for you. That's what this podcast is all about. Focus on why you are doing what you are doing. And if it's not aligned with your values and your principles, then change it so it can be. Sarah recognised that she was forced to choose between her family and her work, and she didn't feel that this had to be the way. Bucking the trend, she chose her own path. She designed a life without compromise where she could raise her daughter and work in an industry she loved, but on her own terms. How often do you follow the trend just because that's the way it has always been done? Have you stopped to assess whether that way serves you? Or perhaps it no longer serves you? Does it serve others? Could it be that there are other routes that you could pursue to achieve what you desire? Open your mind and create opportunities. Sometimes a different approach is all that is needed. This links nicely into episode 74, Choices and Opportunities with Nick James. What is choice? It's the act of selecting between two or more possibilities, often the best or more appropriate course of action of the options available. What is opportunity? It's a time or set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. You aren't born with your habits, your skills, your beliefs. These are learnt, and you've chosen to adopt them. Recognizing that you have a choice in how you think, feel, and behave every day is incredibly empowering. The quality of your choices determines the quality of your life. You receive millions of pieces of information every second through all your senses, and yet you've chosen to train your reticular activating system, which acts as your brain's gatekeeper, to filter the information for you to either focus on or to reject. You are left with around 50 pieces of information that the conscious mind can process. This means that you are constantly deleting, generalizing, and distorting information that you receive every second. This becomes your understanding of the world as you represent it, a unique map of how you choose to receive the information through your senses. Who you are, what you do, and what you have is all within your control. What you want to have determines who you become and what you do. So what are you doing? Are you living or existing? The difference between those who make success, achieve their aim or purpose, and those who do not lies in the fact that successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not. They keep going because they have a plan and a purpose. It is their choice. It is a choice. Opportunities are there for you to grab hold of all the time. You just need to know what to look for and where to look for them and how to create them. As Michelle Obama says, there is no magic to achievement. It's really about hard work, choices, and persistence. It boils down to whoever wants it more. Nick and I talk about The Last Dance, documentary of the last year of Michael Jordan's career in basketball. It goes back a few years beforehand and charts the whole of his career, but it focuses mainly on his last dance, the last year. And it shows his sheer determination, his plan to follow, and his pursuit of his purpose. He didn't lose focus of what he wanted to achieve. He started with hope, and he knew that the rest would follow. I asked Nick what would have happened had he not gone to that Tony Robbins seminar when he was 12 years old, in a kind of sliding doors style where an entire alternative version of his life could have manifested. Nick has certainly gone on to make choices and seize opportunities, and in his own words, he said he was a master of none, but he knew that he could be a master of experts, and this is what he has done. This is how and why he created expert empires. He provides a stage for the other experts, and that is his purpose. If I'd seen Tony Robbins speak when I was 12, I can only but imagine what the lasting effect of that scenario would have been on me and what path I would have taken. It doesn't matter. It didn't happen for me, and I am exactly where I am meant to be right now, and everything that has happened to me or for me has served a purpose in one way or another. It is a case of making choices and seizing opportunities going forward. In episode 75, A Game of Loans with Sam Norris, we talk about a simple mix-up, a miscommunication which set an entire new course for Sam's life. Turning up for an interview thinking it was for a stockbroker's role, only to find out and realise in that group interview moment that it was for a mortgage broker job instead. Eek, what did that even mean? He was honest. He explained the situation and he landed the job. Another potential sliding doors moment I see, where one opportunity presents itself and a whole new direction is set. Life is a series of moments, of choices where we constantly take ourselves on different directions, different forks in the road. Sometimes we often think that purpose needs to be a grand plan, a big, higher purpose. However, Sam shows us that you can live with purpose on a smaller scale, on a personal scale, and it's just as fulfilling for you as an individual. We all have different dreams and we all have a unique why in our life. Sam talks of the importance of time and money. However, it is his wife who is at the very heart of his life. His passion is to educate. No, I didn't say that wrong. Educate, a combination of entertaining and educating simultaneously, where Sam helps other people to understand more about money, to help them become more financially literate, to have more control over their time and their money. Time and money is something that my next guest has also focused on with a passionate determination to understand the future of the financial system. Going by the Twitter handle, Hodler Than Thou, Sir Badminton of Bitcoin has invested more than 6,000 hours into understanding the world of finance, focusing on Bitcoin and condensing these 6,000 hours into just one for this episode, Why Bitcoin? And if you're considering investing in Bitcoin, I would highly recommend that you tune into this episode to hear what Badders has learnt over those last 4 years, because he covers the why, the what, and the how of Bitcoin investment. A fascinating conversation in a space where I have some but limited knowledge, and one that I was intrigued to pursue further with Badders. For me, the most poignant moment is the understanding that paper money is of no physical value anymore. That's crazy. The entire system is just based on judicial systems and governments. It's not based on anything fundamental like gold, how it used to be. Now, not only does Badders explain the why, the what, and the how, he also throws in the what-if scenarios for good measure and a balance in the conversation. We could have talked for hours. However, I believe that he has made an esoteric subject much more accessible to the audience by sharing his journey and his why. He says we're entering the 21st century with a money that came about in the 16th century and a financial and banking system that is from the early 20th century. He believes that it is time for an internet money that is borderless, frictionless, censorship resistant, that is unseizable, that is immutable and permissionless, and one that facilitates and improves trade globally for both individuals and societies as a whole. It sounds an incredible way forward for us all. The final episode is Creative Perspective, episode 77 with Charlie Calder-Potts. Despite Charlie being my cousin, I had not had a proper chance to sit down with her and talk about the incredible experiences that she's had over the last few years. So recording this podcast with her provided me with a perfect opportunity to explore just how she became the youngest female war artist back in 2014 at the age of 28, and share with the audience at the same time her experiences. This episode definitely inspires all those out there that it is possible to create your own future. Go against the flow. In fact, this has been the running theme in all the episodes I've reflected upon today. Sharing her experiences of being an artist based in Camp Bastion, Helmand Province in Afghanistan, and also training as a Russian icon artist, Charlie demonstrates how she has managed to bend her practice around her passions. Her fascination with history, art and travel have all become intertwined to become one, working on art commissions in Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Syria and Russia. She has made it work in her own way, and she has pursued a life that she wanted. From those early years painting in a frozen stable and nannying all round those extra hours, she managed to keep going because she had a clear vision of what she wanted to achieve. I don't know of many other mixed media artists who have created their artwork using metal armour plating from old army war vehicles, but Charlie has. Original art created in original circumstances calls for a creative perspective, and this is what Charlie has in abundance. So that's it for today. And before I finish, I just want to ask you, what is your why? What is your story? What is it you're doing in life? Are you fulfilled? Have you actually stopped to think about why you're doing what you're doing? I mean, really stopped to focus on why. Thank you for listening to the Focus on Why podcast. I'm Amy Rowlinson, and if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave me a 5-star Apple Podcast review. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram and Facebook, and become a member of my inspiring, uplifting and positive Focus on Why Facebook group. I help people to focus on their why with clarity, uniting their passion with their purpose with a plan to create the life they truly desire. If you would like me to help you focus on your why, then please book a free 20-minute coaching call via calendly.com/Amy Rowlinson. And if you haven't already, please sign up for the Friday Focus weekly newsletter via my website, amyrowlinson.com. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why.